Welcome back guys to another farm tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a pest-friendly super farm. Now before I get into the design, make sure you are subscribed if you have not already, because it only takes like 2 seconds and it helps me out a ton, and you can always change your mind at any time. I'd like to give a special thanks to Agitated Snake 92. He helped me out with a couple of the designs for these farms. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So this design is going to require two 5x1 plots, and the only thing is they do have to be connected. So you cannot do this row and this row, they have to be touching. To start out the farm, grab some soul sand and some TNT from the redstone person underneath the builder. Then throw the soul sand in your builder's ruler, and we're going to start here at the edge of the farthest plot. So what you're going to do is place a row of soul sand, skip 3 blocks, and place another one. Skip 3 blocks and place another one. It's just this pattern all the way across, and what you're going to want is 16 rows of soul sand. Once you have completed that, throw an infinity dirt wand into your builder's ruler, grab the TNT, and what you're going to do is place 2 TNT right next to the edge ones, and that includes the last one on the end. Then just place a row of 2 dirt across each one. Then you can break all of the TNT, and we're going to start work on the upper rows. And then what we're going to do is place 2 TNT like so, just like that. And then place a dirt on top of them, and then 2 on top of it like that. And so in the end, it should be 3 rows of 2 dirt, and just do that for all 16 rows. And when you're finished with that, it should look just like this all the way across, and that will be the start of Melon and Pumpkin. Now the last thing we're going to do on these farms for the moment is place 3 dirt just like so on every single row except for this last one. And when you're finished with that, it should look just like this for all 12 rows, and this last one is going to be the only odd one out. And next you're going to want to grab some sand and put it in your builder's ruler. And start by placing 1 sand row, just diagonal from this last row. And then we're going to add rows of 2 sand, and at the end you're going to have 22 rows of sand. So when you're finished with that, it should look like this, with 22 rows of 2 sand, and then 1 row of 1 sand. The next thing you're going to want to do is add a row of TNT that is directly at the same level as the Melon and Pumpkin top layer, and just all the way across to the end of the plot. Then throw your infinity dirt wand in the builder's ruler, and you're going to place a row of dirt just like so, and then 10 rows of 2 dirt. And that should hit just at the end of the plot. And here you're going to want to add 2 TNT just like so, and then place 1 row of dirt across to end it off. Then you can break out all of the TNT from underneath. And then it should look like this, with 1 row of 1 wide dirt across, and then 10 rows of 2, and then ends it off with 1 more of 1 row. And with the TNT again, what we're going to want to do is bring down TNT just like so. And you're going to want a 2 block gap between here, throw more TNT in the builder's ruler, and then just build it across to the end of the plot. That's really more TNT than necessary, but that's totally fine. Then grab some jungle wood. You're going to need a good amount, so you're probably going to need 2 full inventories. And then you're going to start right here with 3 high jungle wood. And then you're going to build 10 rows across, leaving a 2 block gap, no, 1 block, 2 block gap between each one. Then when you're done with that, it should look just like so, 10 rows of 3 high jungle wood. And now you can get rid of the TNT. And now throw your infinity dirt wand back in the ruler, and what we're going to do is build up a number of rows of dirt. Now, in the end, it should be 1 higher than the rows of jungle wood, and then delete all the rows except for the top 2. And then between this, you want a 1 block gap here, and then you can start out with 5 rows of dirt, skip a row, another 5 rows of dirt, skip a row, another 5 rows of dirt, And then you're going to need to grab some soul sand. and then 5 rows of soul sand. Now, just like in previous farms, what you're going to do is build a row of dirt across, and then extend these out another 5, and then build another row of dirt, and basically just continue this until you have 5 rows. Then when that's all complete, you can basically remove these in-between blocks. And then it should be 5 rows, 3 wide of dirt, and then another 1 of soul sand, each one 5 wide, and with a 1 block gap between each one. Then 1 block away from the soul sand, just use a wall of dirt and build it all the way up to build height. So what you're going to want to do is go over to this wall here, go 3 down, break the dirt, and then go another 3 down, break this dirt, and then throw a little bit of TNT into the ruler. So basically just go all the way across just like so. And then now we can pull this out and use Podzol. And what we're going to do is build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip a block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip another block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip another block, another row of 5. And then after you've done that, basically just copy the exact same thing, but on this row. Now you can get rid of the extra Podzol. And what we're going to do now is go over to the left of each row, place the TNT below the one that's there, and then break the top one. So just below it by 1. And you're not going to have to do that on the end. Now what you're going to want to do is grab the slabs that you have and basically place them on top of each of the lower TNTs. And now you can get rid of the extra slabs and just break all of the TNT. And then replace 2 dirt back right there. And then that is it for mushroom. And now what we're going to do is add water to basically all the farms that need it, but starting out with melon and pumpkin. So I would suggest going to the builder and getting trap doors. Then you should set your rancher boots to 116 speed. And basically this is the edge jar right here. And what we're going to do is place a row of trap doors here, here, and here. So with 116 speed, you can just walk all the way across. Try to get close to a 90-degree angle so you don't just like walk off. But when you're at 116, you should never miss a block. After you get to the end, basically just fly back through and then just like click as fast as you can. And then just like, you know, open all the trapdoors. After you've built all 3 of these rows of trapdoors, grab some TNT. Place 1 right in front of this soul sand here. And then basically build a little row of 4 TNT just like this, so that if water went right here, it would be blocked off by the TNT. After you've built this design, basically copy this on every other row so you can skip this one. The only thing is you do need this bottom one on every row. So this is the second row, so we go like so. So just copy this design across till the end. And when you're all finished, it should look just like this with the TNT going on every other row. And now basically every row that has the TNT like this, copy the exact same trapdoor pattern. Once all of the trapdoors are in place, then we can go over to this side here, grab out a Prisma pump. Now I suggest getting a magical water bucket if the Prisma pump doesn't work. Grab out the infinity dirt wand and put it in your builder's ruler, and just place it on this trapdoor right here, on all of the rows. Then when you're finished, it should look like that. And now you can use a Prisma pump on each of these dirt rows. And then after those go all the way across, make sure they go all the way across. And once you're sure they made it to the other end, just get rid of the row of dirt. Also, it really doesn't matter if water flowing temporarily disables, it will fix itself eventually. And after the water is flowing, it should look just like this. And now you can use a Prisma pump on the soul sand. And then it should look just like this when you finish all of that. And that means it's basically ready to plant and then paste across to the next plot. But we're just going to hold off on doing that until we finish all of the other farms to be in the same boat. Now moving on to this sugarcane farm, what we're going to do is a little odd, but basically place a row of dirt just like so. After you've placed this one, just paste another row of dirt on the left block of this row of 2, and do that for all 10 rows. So then after you place all of the dirt across these rows, basically just put trapdoors across all of the rows, and then just flip the trapdoors down, and then we can remove the rows of dirt. Now the trapdoors actually do not include this last row right here. After you finish that, just use the builder's ruler and delete all of the rows of dirt, and your farm should look something like this with trapdoors on all of these edge blocks. And now the next thing we have to do is pull out the infinity dirt wand, and what we're going to do is put 3 dirt down just like so, dig 2 there, and then put the infinity dirt wand back in and place a row of dirt across just like that. Now you're actually going to need to go over here and just place 1 more dirt on this row because it like gets out of the plot. And now call the builder and get a lot of oak fence gates. Now basically place the oak fence gates just like so in all of these gaps. Now after you finish that, you can get rid of this row of dirt here. And now your farm should look something like this. Also, don't forget this 1 dirt here. And now basically just go through and open all the gates, which is a very annoying task because like you can't hold right click unless you do it just right. But yeah, I hate this task, but it has to be done. Now once you get to the other row, what I like to do is I always fly back through to make sure there's no closed gate. Now I know you can like actually see all the way down, but the main thing is, if you open a gate this way, and this one's this way, it's just so annoying to me that I just have to have them all face the same direction. Obviously, if you don't care, you don't have to do it, but I cannot have all the fence gates facing this different directions. Now, after you've opened up all the fence gates, basically go to this end, put TNT right on the edge so that the water won't spill out. And now what we can do is go back over to this end and fill these rows up with water. And basically the reason we have these trapdoors and gates like this is now we can get easily between the rows. Like say there was a pest down there, we can just easily drop down and grab it and go right back out the top. And the nice thing is this is going to be the same all the way across the farm, so it's going to be easy access to any point. Now we're going to move on to these farms, which if you remember these from the last time, basically what you do is just place rows of dirt across up one side just like so, and then another side right here. And instead of placing iron trapdoors, this time we are going to be placing wooden trapdoors. Now remember, these go just at the top of the second block up so that you can easily walk under them and water can be placed on top of them. Now after you get to this end, basically you just do the top of the next block up. So there will be a 2-block gap between these, and you can easily just walk and place the trapdoors. Then just remove those excess rows of dirt that were used to place the trapdoors. And now one other thing we have to do is right here place a TNT, row of dirt, break the TNT. Then we can block it off with TNT and place a row of water. We can also just block these off with TNT. And then fill all of them up with water as well. Once you know that this water made it all the way across, just delete the row of dirt. Now it will disable the water on the world, but that's fine. Just wait a bit and it should fix itself. Then it should look something like this with water here, here, and here. Now the last thing we have to do is TNT, row of dirt. We can block this off here and then a row of water here. We can break this TNT, and once it makes it to the other end, just get rid of this row of dirt here. And again, don't worry about it not flowing, it will fix itself eventually. And now we get to move on to Cactus, which is the last needed before we can start pasting plots. So Cactus Farm is by far the weirdest farm. Basically what you want to do is leave this one blank, and then place a TNT here, and then place TNT every other all the way to the end. And then go down to the other end, and place TNT on the opposite block, so it would be right here, and then every other. Now we're going to need more wooden trapdoors, and basically what's going to happen is you're going to place one trapdoor right next to the TNT, count out 8 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then place another trapdoor, and then just copy this all the way across the row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once you get to the other end, basically there should be 6 left. And now what we're going to do is the same thing going the opposite direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the easy way to tell now is there is a 2 block gap between this one and this one. So we don't really need to count anymore. We can just count out 3 from here. Then once you finish that, it should look like this with them just going across. And basically we have to copy these all the way down. And once you've finished placing all of the trapdoors, basically what we want to do now is builder's ruler with infinity dirt wand. Place a row of dirt right on top of the right rows of sand. And you do not need to do it for the last one, but basically what we're going to do now is I need to get more trapdoors. Basically just go through, so this is the first row, and the trapdoor will go right on the right and up 1 block from the previous trapdoors. And then on the next row, it's going to do the same thing, but over 1 to the left. And that does include on top of the TNT. So basically what you can do now is they're going to be right next to each other this time. So what you can do is just go through this row just like this, and it is much faster than even the last time. And after you finish with all of that, the trapdoor should look something like this. And basically what we want to do now is just go through and place water between each of the trapdoors. So obviously it's going to be flowing this way, and then on the next row it's going to be flowing the opposite direction. And once you're finished with that, it should look something like this, and now you can get rid of all of the dirt in between each of the rows. So grab out some sugar cane and basically just paste it on all of these rows, including both rows of 1 at the ends of each plot. And then that should look like this. And now we can move on to cocoa beans. Now you're going to need a lot of cocoa beans because we have to do 3 rows on each side of every row of jungle wood, except for the 2 end rows. Now grab a hoe of greatest tilling and till all the dirt on all 3 of these rows of 5. Go to the other side to make sure it got tilled all the way. Now it's very rare, but there have been times I've seen it only go like most of the way and then just stop. So once you've seen it goes all the way, you can go back to this end just because it's like, I don't know, the end, so it's easier. Then grab seeds for wheat, potato, carrot. It really doesn't matter the order, but just plant all 3 of those crops. Then do the same thing and grab nether warts for the soul sand. Now let's go back over to melon and pumpkin. And what you're going to do is till the dirt that is always to the right. Now remember, you're off the edge, you're not on that end. So till the dirt that's to the right, so that if you were farming it from the soul sand here, the seeds would be on the far end, and they would grow on these ends. And just do that for this row, and this row, all the way across. And then it should look like this. Now we're not actually going to be pasting any seeds, because what I've found is that a basket of seeds pastes 2.5 plots long. So we'd only need to paste on one end and then the other end, rather than trying to like keep your inventory full all the time. It just doesn't really work. And we're also not going to be doing cactus, but basically, yes, leave this TNT where it is. Now the next thing we're going to do is plant mushroom, and basically what we're going to do is just plant like the corners, and that is it. And then save the preset, because that way we don't have to plant as many directly from our sacks, so we don't have to buy as many directly to our sacks, which is just convenient. So basically just plant a mushroom. It doesn't really matter where, just like on all of these. And you can see it's already growing. So let's save this preset. And let's just call it 6-2. Because it is the second part of it. Now I'm just going to use a clock. I don't think it really matters though. Now as you wait for the ability to save another preset, basically just fill your sacks with like every single resource. You're going to want like 11,000 of each at least. And once you have done that, Basically now it should have been long enough that we can save this preset. Now I'm going to call it 6.1. Now you can call it whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. But now 6.1 goes up this side and then 6.2 goes up this side. So always start with 6.2 because basically the reason is when we come over here and see sugarcane, it starts on a water block. So if you were to paste this one first, after this one right here is finished pasting, basically there won't be water next to this sugarcane right here. And so this whole row of sugarcane will just break. And it is pretty annoying to replant it, so just make sure you always start by pasting the right side. And now we can start work on the ends of the farm. So right now I'm going to start work on cocoa beans. As you may have been able to tell, cocoa is a little bit weird and it is different from normal. So we're actually going to be farming it from the top. And to do this, basically we break this one cocoa and this is going to be our starting block right here. So right here is where you type /set spawn. Next, just grab a whole bunch of cobblestone walls and then call the wool weaver, or just go to them right above the builder and grab any color stained glass pane or just regular glass. It doesn't matter too much. Basically what we do now is place a cobblestone wall here and a cake here. So if we set our spawn here at a perfect angle and then we move over, we'll be able to farm the cocoa beans all the way down to the row. So what we're going to do now is, so we have that block there, what we're going to do is place a cobblestone wall right next to it. And basically what that's going to do is after you've farmed the cocoa beans, that will stop you. And then you can move over. Now to move over, what we're going to need is the stained glass pane, which we place right above the cocoa beans, just like so. So we move over and we can farm them all the way down. So basically what we need to do now is just copy these two pieces of it over here. So we get stained glass pane and cobblestone wall, which we move like so. Just do that. Now you can either do 2 or 3. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do 3. And basically just alternate between cobblestone wall and stained glass pane every time you're on a row of cocoa. Then just finish it off with 2 cobblestone walls at the end. So it should look like this with the stained glass every couple. So after you've finished down at that side, we can move on to this side and basically just start out by placing cobblestone wall all the way across. And then call the builder because you're going to need to get some doors, and also grab a pickaxe because not all of this wall is staying. So talk to the builder and grab some doors. Now I'm just going to use oak door, but it does not matter. And basically place the door just like that. And so what that's going to do is if we were farming, this isn't a perfect angle, but you know, whatever. And we get right here, then we can move over to this side. And yes, we're going to be on the cocoa, but when we have the perfect angle, it should not matter as we can walk right on top of it. The problem is you cannot walk on top of it while you move forward like this because that just will not work. So now basically what we're going to do is work on the wheat, carrot, potato, and netherwort, and basically just grab any block you want. I'm basically always going to be using sea lanterns and just place them on top of every trapdoor just like that. So we need to go down to the other row, and then you can place a sign on this block right here. And then you can break the trapdoor right here. And then place a sea lantern on top of this trapdoor here, as well as this top one here. And that will send you back down to the other end. But while we're here, let's just work on the next row. So we're coming back on this row, do the exact same thing. Place a sign here. Break the trapdoor, which I'm going to grab an axe real quick so it's a little faster. And then place in a sea lantern. Drops us down here. And that will end us off. And do basically the exact same thing on the other side. Just break the correct trapdoors. So we're coming back on this row right here. So break that second one. And then place the sign on the dirt. And that will drop us down there. We're coming back on this row here. We can place this sign. And break the trapdoor. And that's it for this one. Now copy the exact same thing here. So this one we start. Break this trapdoor. Sign here. Trapdoor. And that's that side. Now again, this far side, sign there. Break that trapdoor. Sea lantern here. Sign here. break this trapdoor, sea lantern, sea lantern, sea lantern, and that is it. So we're actually going to need more podzol in order to make this farm work. But we're also going to need some trapdoors. So the way mushroom works is basically we have to remove this row as well as this row. So we leave these two rows normal and just remove the second row in on these two, as well as the same thing on the bottom two. And then after we've done that, basically connect these up right here, and then also put one right there, so that it's one long straight line. Now grab some slabs and basically just connect them between each of these rows. And now after you've done that, what we have to do next is add 3 podzol right there, as well as 3 down here. So now you might be thinking, well, how on earth do you farm this farm? So you're going to start right here, and we'll leave a sea lantern there, as well as a sea lantern there at the end of the farm. So you're going to start from here, farm all the way down to the other end. Now this is where it gets pretty interesting. You're going to need to grab some fences, and we're also going to need more podzol. So what we do here is build in 3 podzol like that, and do this for all of the rows. So what we need here is we need to break this podzol and this one, and place 2 fences, and then we can break all of these rows of podzol here. We're going to want to place stone brick slabs all the way across, just like we did before. Now, before we place that one, I'm just real quick going to do the same thing, remove these bottom ones. And after you've got these going all the way down here, what we're going to need to go is, what we're going to need to do is come back up here and basically remove this row of podzol, and then place a row across here, and then place the podzol in there. So you've got one long line. So if you were farming like this, you can go like this all the way. You hit the fence, and then place these slabs in here, and it would get you all the way. Place 3 podzol in each of these rows here. So basically the way this is going to work is you're going to go across here, all the way back down here, farming all of these red mushrooms as you go, and then across this farm down there. Next up, we have to place a row of trapdoors right along this dirt block here, so that if you were using S to go backwards, it would keep you on the trapdoors. So basically right here where these fences are, we're going to do the same thing right here. Just start out by removing this podzol. You can do the same thing on the bottom. And then break this one and place fences. And then you can finish this off with some slabs across. Then that should look like this, which that is it for right here. And now what we have to do again is trapdoors on this row here. And then this end is going to look just like this. You've basically just got these blocked off right here. And then one U shape here with a row of trapdoors here and here. And basically you don't really need fences on this one because of the way you're walking. But what we are going to have to do is grab a pickaxe, and right here we break this block. Now this second layer of mushroom is very different from the top one. So basically you don't actually need this row of trapdoors here. You can just farm right across like this going forward. But what you do need is a row of trapdoors along this edge here, and then 2 fences right here, and that will catch you. And now you need to place a row of trapdoors along this row. So if you're farming like this, that will catch you and you can farm backwards. So the top layer of mushroom looks like this, where you have 1 row of trapdoors along this edge and 1 row of trapdoors along this edge. You have 2 sets of 2 fences, just like so. And then that's this end, so it's the far end of the mushroom farm. If we go back to the other end, basically we have the same thing, but it's slightly different. We have this row of trapdoors here, this row of trapdoors here with a little hole right here. And then these 2 rows are just blocked off by a single block. And that is the top layer. Now the bottom layer down here is a little bit different. So what we need here is we have a row of trapdoors right here. This is not the first row. The first row is right over there. So this second row needs a row of trapdoors coming this way. Now, what you can do is, since we're farming backwards, what you're going to want to do is place trapdoors like this all the way down to the end of this row. Now, you're not going to need this row of trapdoors here. I accidentally just put them like in the wrong spot. So what you are going to need to do is place not trapdoors, fences right here. But you can just break all of that and then place 2 fences just like that because it will keep you in. And don't mind this row of trapdoors, that's not even right. Again, this row of trapdoors is not needed. Place 2 podzol right there if you haven't already. I hadn't done it at that point. So now we're going to want more trapdoors right along this edge here. And then break 2 podzol here, and then place 2 fences. And after you've done that, what we're going to need to do is place trapdoors down this last row. And that should take us, at the end, there should be a sea lantern, and that will be the end of the farm. Now what we can do on this top row, just to get a little bit more, is basically just place trapdoors right along this edge here, and then right along this small edge here. And then you can just flip all of those down. That's just to ensure that you get all 3 of the mushrooms right there. So now let's work on cactus a bit. So since we've already pasted all 5 plots down, now we should be able to break all of the TNT. Now TNT is going to be set in multiple spots throughout the farm. Right at this end here, and then we should come across at every plot just like this. Now the reason we didn't break it before is because when we break it now, the water will connect. But if we pasted the plot without the TNT right there, it would not connect. It would just like be stuck. So we leave the TNT and here we break it afterward. So the next thing you're going to want to do is we're back near the beginning of the farms. And what we're going to be doing here is every time where we have water flowing to the right, basically what we're going to do is block off the first water. Then place a TNT, grab trapdoors. I guess you can't use TNT, so just use like dirt or something. And then place a trapdoor like that so it looks like a little V. And then what we're going to do is mine 2 sand here. Place a trapdoor there. And I'm just going to put sea lanterns there. And then put water right between there. And then place a water bucket right under here. So basically just copy this across every one where we have the water flowing this way. So block off the water, place a block, place a trapdoor on it, break that block, and then block off the water or ends right there. Block off the water with a trapdoor there, and then you've got this, and then a magical water bucket right there and right there. And it is just going to be the exact same thing all the way down. Although I will be placing a sea lantern right here at the start of the farm. So just grab a single sign, place it right there. So if we did /set spawn, and then we go, anywhere, and then warp garden, it'll bring us right back here, and then we can start farming. Now the last thing we have to do before we plant the cactus is grab TNT and cactus heads. Now you can just grab these from the variety section at the builder. So what we have to do here is every time where there's a row that's moving over, so it's basically an in-between row, this trapdoor right here, place a TNT on top of it, and then a cactus head right there. And then basically just break all the TNT, and that is it. Just do this on both ends of the farm. And once you're finished with that, it should look something like this. And now it is time to start planting. Now to plant cactus, what we're going to have to do is grab a basket of seeds with cactus. Now what you want to do is place cactus here and then right here. And then you move on to the second row here where we go up 1 and then back 1. So it's going to look like this. And if you did it right, the cactus should go pretty far. If you did it wrong, it will stop pretty quickly. And then just copy this over and over again. Just do right there, and then like so, all the way across till the end of the farm. And once you've finished that row of cactus, basically go down to the end of the farm and see if it made it all the way. Which it actually did. Now, a basket of seeds used to only paste 2.5 plots. I'm not sure if it's only cactus, but it looks like it made it all the way on all of these. Actually, wait, I missed 1 row. So we can paste that there. And there we go. Cactus is now complete. Okay, so we're going to start the farm right here. Now, basically, it's a little bit strange. But the way you're going to be farming this is like this. You're going to be farming 2 rows just like that, walking forward, and then when we get to the next row, there should be 1 row still up, and you're going to be farming it backwards. Now, if you're doing it this slow, you're obviously going to hit 3, but really you're going to want to be trying to hit 2. So now that you have dirt, basically what we're going to do is block off right here. So if you were farming back down on this road like this, the dirt would stop you. And then we need to break this trapdoor right here. Is go to the bazaar and grab some lily pads. Nope, don't do that. And that way we should be able to walk on top of it without falling into the water. So now we copied this design for the rest of the farm. So basically just dirt, 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 dirt. Break this trapdoor and this trapdoor and a lily pad here and dirt here. And then this is actually going to be the end of the farm here, where we go farming up this row. Now, basically what's going to happen is we're not ever going to be standing on this 1 row of dirt. So after you finish that side, we copy the exact same thing on the other side, except for this last row where we just block it off. And so right here, block it off. And after you finish that, that's it for the sugarcane farm. And that one is also complete now. And the only ones left is melon and pumpkin. And now it is actually time to start planting. So we need to paste 8 of these rows as pumpkin and 8 of them as melon. So I'm going to just start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we have to basically just finish out these rows. Now I believe pumpkin and melon are planted as halfway through. So they're only planted for 2.5 plots. So after you finish the 8 rows on one side, go straight to the other side and then plant them from the opposite direction. Because if you don't, then some bad things can happen. And basically those bad things are the pumpkins / melons start to grow. And they grow into the plot next to them instead of onto the dirt next to them. So they'll actually block the seeds from future planting. So that is a win, and now we can do the same thing with melons, and then we can start working on switching between rows. Okay, so for pumpkin and melon, what we need to do is start right here, place a sea lantern so we can start right on this block, and go down. Really, that sea lantern doesn't matter, but I like to not start on the first block in case I accidentally walk the wrong way. And then right in between here, what we're going to do is place a sea lantern there. Now I'm going to grab some tools to make this a little bit faster, but basically you want to break through this pumpkin right here, the 2 dirt there, and then place 8 layers of snow. But before we do that, we're going to need to block these off with signs right there and right there. And then break through this dirt here and this dirt here, place a sign here, and then break this dirt here. And now we can place 8 layers of snow. The easiest way to do this is place 1 block here, 1 right here, and then just go outside and make it the exact same size. And then that is it for this row. And you just go right through here quite quickly. So when you switch rows, basically just place a sea lantern right there. And that's it for a lane switch. So basically we copy this exact same idea right here. So we need to switch through to this lane. So right here, break this, 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 and this. Now we place 3 signs. And then snow all the way across. And then a sea lantern here. So opposite end is basically the opposite rows. So we did this row to this row. Basically we do this row to this row right here. So block it off here. And it is basically the exact same thing, just opposite rows. So we break through there, 2, 3. Now, because we are doing opposite rows, we have a trap door. So it is ever so slightly different. Now, again, the middle block is the easiest to reach from the opposite side. So that's the one I suggest leaving open. So we break through here. Now we have to break this trap door here. So just place a sign right above it. So the water just flows around the sign and it doesn't really break anything. And then just place a sea lantern like you would on the other type. And then just copy this for all of the pumpkin and then all of the melon rows. Now once you're all finished, it should look like this. Now, just make sure there's snow on every other across every row. And if that's good, then you've completed the super farm. Thank you guys very much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.